Hello and welcome back to episode 8, a time-lapse series in Camembert Coasts. I want to thank you all for all your comments. As you can see, there are some nicer images on screen now that don't look so janky, so thank you for those who suggested that. Getting some nice time lapses of the city. Now this one's going to be quite a large episode because of the amount of work that we've done. So without further ado, let's jump straight in. So we started off with two main parts of this. Now the first part was relocating this highway, creating a little bit of landscaping around it, smoothing it out, making sure there was a direct way in and out of this area. So essentially what we're doing after adding in all these trees, a little bit messy, we are redirecting this highway, as this highway was actually going to go further down this stretch of coastline, which you'll see shortly, but also will be the main bridge to our main industrial port later down the line. So here we're just working out the road networks currently, and this will eventually move northbound. Here we are, just showing you roughly where this goes. You can see it goes right around all the way along this secondary beachfront. This in the future will turn into a bit more of an entertainment district, not so much like red light, but that sort of vibe. Each side of this bridge will have railway connections. One leads down to our current railways near our farmland. The other one will reach through these mountains and another connection off the map. This train line will run parallel with this highway. There will be a train station along here at some point, not completely sure where at this current moment, but this will hopefully bring in some tourists to the area. Now the one thing I was going to do, I completely forgot about, this was actually going to have another connection. So the highway that I just built, we turned into a free level kind of intersection, which I was pretty proud of. We had two running on the underside. We have this roundabout which everything connects up to, and then from east to west you have a overground connection, which you should see here shortly. And then it was just the matter of connecting all this to the roundabout, so we all every north, east, west and southbound junctions had a way to intersect. Now the second part of this was actually, imagine like an Olympic park. Now I did cut out a massive portion of this intersection because it took me forever on stream, but we have a four-way tram connection here, which features quite a lot of this area actually. Later on we add in a metro line to connect up with the football stadium a little bit further south of here. But this intersection was something that I was quite proud of in the end after we decorated it all. It was very unique. It was nothing like I'd done before, and we'll see that a little bit later on. Now up the north you can see that there will be a zoo location just up here. A bit strange for an Olympic Park area, I will admit, but I thought this would be a unique place to have this. So we will be working on that in the next stream. But essentially what I want to do with these tram lines is break them up a little bit. I didn't like the idea that there was one singular long connection of tram that ran all the way from the main station up to this area. So at some point I will add in and change up these lines, hence the intersections. And now you can see we are adding in some pedestrian roads to make this place more walkable. Like the mayor of Camembert Coasts always says that he wants a very walkable area with lots of tourism. And you can see that we link this up. We were originally going to take this all the way down to the stadium, but I think these nice like white, yellow cobblestone roads didn't really match up. So we just cut it off here, and then we put in a pathway that ran all the way down. Now we did want to fill in this little area as well. We kept the same design for our low density residential area, but we just made like a singular block here. I probably will go back and change this a little bit. It did seem a little squared off, I'll say, a little bit out, like there was no real way for it to blend into the area, so I will probably change this a little bit. Unfortunately, adding trees to this just didn't fix it, so regardless of that, it's turned out nice. It looked very much similar to how the rest of the suburbs in the city look. Now on to this section, we continue this tram line up and along. Essentially wanted some sort of nature reserve or some cliffside park, as I've called it temporarily. Feel free to jump into the streams at Saturday 3 p.m. BST to name this park if you wish. But this would act as like a little bit of a natural getaway from this area. You do see a little bit later on that we do fill in most of this area with a bit of residential and office, well actually, and commercial, but the side closest to this park was more residential. But there is this very nice little tram loop around, which I was pretty happy with at the end. Now, as you can see here, as we spoke about before, we did introduce this metro connection, which connected up with the football stadium a little bit up north, which I feel like was a pretty necessary connection, especially seeing as we were trying to get as many people up to this zoo from downtown as well. Although, as I've said before as well, we have the tram tracks here as well. I feel like this will just be a bit more of a direct route. So here you can see this beautiful open air mall from the content creator pack of shopping malls. I believe it was made by King Leno, I could be wrong, but this kind of filled in the area pretty nicely, fit perfectly underneath this metro line. And here you can see us just trying to add in a few more of the bigger buildings, making sure that we can fill this area up quite nicely with a good mixture of commercial, office and residential growth. I believe at some point we did add in another hotel, the Paris Stilton chain, which the mayor is very much trying to get up and running very, very quickly. And here you can see us adding in some slightly bigger residential complexes. I like the idea of having slightly higher rises here, nothing too high to interrupt with the skyline on the middle island. But I imagine like footballers would stay here on match game days and such. Here we're adding in a little bit more office zoning, just to give the mixed zoning usage that we need here. I believe I added in small parking. Maybe I cut that out as well. And then along this front, right opposite the nature reserve, or what will be the nature reserve, we added in some of these lovely assets, which are mostly residential. And then finally, we jump back into this intersection and start decorating it, because I actually really liked how the design for this one. The people in the live stream chat opted for the colors orange and red. Well, actually, I think they chose certain colors that I didn't know what they were at first, or certain shades of green and red, which I got very confused with. But here you can see us carefully outlining these curbs with these curb networks, secondary curb networks, shall I say. And then we slowly add in more trees, more plants. I believe we used orange trees on the roads and upgraded those, red ones in the center, and then chucked in a load of bushes just to finish off this piece. And here we can see everything beforehand. Now this is in technically 3 stages, just because I thought I was going to get a lot more done. So zooming in from the little sports arena along this coastline, and then up to where we move the highway. And hopefully, if I've done this correctly, which I'm sure I did, ta-da! As you can see, we've completely relocated the highway, put in some mountain here, and we've added in quite a bit of connection into this area. Looks very more, a lot more built up, shall I say. I'm very much falling in love with it. Like I said, this residential area, I'll probably try and make a little bit more curvy next time, but we'll see how that goes. And as always, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you like, subscribe, and feel free to catch me live on Saturday, 3 p.m. BST. I'm going to keep saying it until you join. But for now, let's just have a look at this lovely little area that we have built. I'm very much in love with it. But until the next time, thank you very much. My name is Cheesy Kids, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye now.